Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. I wish you a great start to the new trading week. Bitcoin is moving higher as we're heading into the new week, and we also see a bit of a bounce. Probably we're going to see a bit of a bounce on the S&P 500 today. I think we've seen already a little bit of a bounce on the ES futures, NASDAQ futures as well, as we're heading towards the opening of the New York Stock Exchange today. But yeah, we already see a bit of a bounce, a Bitcoin following, and that's not unexpected given that the market has, or the price here has morphed into a diagonal pattern to the downside. Want to talk about that in this video. Want to talk about the next target to the upside, and then what the chances are that we carry on with the yellow wave count. So first of all, I don't want to talk about this daily chart here in too much detail. We did that yesterday, but the idea is, we had a long trade, or we have a long trade set up for anybody who wants to take it. There's low risk, high reward for the white wave count. I'm just not convinced by it. It's just not reliable, right? This is not about up or down. It's about, okay, what is the risk? Risk for the white count is quite low, but is it reliable? No, in my opinion, the white wave count is not reliable. You can still trade it if you want to. The parameters are on the chart, but I don't trust it. So that means from my point of view, I want to see more confirmation to believe the white wave count before I make it primary wave count, preferred scenario. I told you very clearly what I need to see for this white scenario to make it primary count, or give it primary status. By the way, for anybody who's not so familiar with this scenario, this is a scenario where we say a larger degree wave 4 correction finished on the 5th of August. We formed a 1-2 setup of a larger diagonal. Diagonals cannot be trusted. So the support area is here between 55,640 and 51,940. The price reacted to support. And if we now see, and that's really what I need to, see on the chart to give it primary status. If we now see a 5-wave move up that leads to a break above 57K, then we can make it primary count. Not a break above 57K as such. It needs to be a 5-wave move above 57K, even though I'm going to consider it above 57K. Until then, we have the support parameters to guide us. The yellow scenario until then is still primary, but it already morphed from an impulse to a diagonal pattern to the downside. The yellow count, as I said, is preferred. It can guide us into the mid 40K region. That's the ideal target for circle C here in yellow of wave Y of 4. It's essentially the same scenario. It's just a different, it's a different variation of that scenario. The wave 4 we're tracking is just a little larger than the white one, okay? But it's overall still the same scenario, which allows for another rally in this bull market. If we call it a bull market or not, that's debatable. The risk has certainly increased that the bull market is over, but I still watch for one more high into the 90 to 100K region, primarily as soon as this wave 4 is complete. But I need to see a reaction to the upside before we break below the lower support region. So before Bitcoin breaks below 43K. So we see a little bit of upside today. Is that unexpected? No. So we see here this, we saw the break of the trend line yesterday. And this is giving you the detailed overview, the detail about the yellow scenario. The yellow count is obviously this downside move. And in the yellow scenario, we're tracking a C wave to the downside in wave 4, as I just showed you on the daily chart. You can see that the rally from the weekend low, or it's actually the Friday low, appears to be a corrective move at the moment. It's only in 3 waves. And however, you can also see that the yellow count is called, or is labeled, a diagonal pattern. So someone asked me, how can it be that a third wave is an ABC? And I just referred that person to the rules of Elliott Wave, because within a diagonal, and the C wave can be an ending diagonal, all the subwaves can be 3-wave movements. Okay, so the third wave as well. But you can find all that information in the internet. Just Google ending diagonal. And the reason why this is not an impulse to the downside, which is the first signal that the bears are losing momentum, is that the initial resistance level broke on the weekend, yesterday. Okay, so we already had a first warning, which was this high, which did respect resistance at the time. I did take that resistance area off the chart because we don't need it anymore. But you might remember that I said in the video a few days ago, oh, that was a first warning. We haven't broken resistance, but the price just ever so slightly moved above the 50% retracement at the time. And that was on Saturday. But that was the first warning, okay? And then we saw a 3-wave pullback. So I issued that statement yesterday on Discord that we have to at least watch for a break above the weekend high. And this happened then shortly afterwards. And then I highlighted a little later yesterday that 56,000 is the ideal projection target for yellow wave C. So we've seen a rejection from the trend line initially. You see that here a little bit better, but it didn't change anything. So 56,000 is the 100% extension of the initial A wave to the upside, which topped on Saturday. Measured against the B wave low that formed, I think, yesterday. And then 56K is the first ideal target. Doesn't mean we have to stop there, but the price should, not will, get there. And then we have to take it from there to see if the market does react to it. But we could also go a little higher. Important is just to understand, and I go to the live chart again, that as long as we only have a 3-wave move to the upside, not 5, only 3, this could just be a corrective rally, and the B wave doesn't really have an invalidation point, circle B. It would only be invalidated if we get 5 waves up. So that's why I said in the beginning, I need to see 5 waves to the upside that break above 57K to make the white wave count, which is the bullish one, preferred scenario, okay? At the moment, the white count also only, it's a 3-wave move up, so let's first see if we can break above 57K. This is the green line, it's the last swing high. Okay, so that's important, but I need to see it done in 5 waves. So that means in the very short term, I'm watching for higher prices as the price travels towards that 56K target that I mentioned overnight. And then it could go a little higher. Yeah, there are more fib levels for a C wave within circle B, like you'll see it on the chart, 56,557, 56,900. But again, it wouldn't change anything. It just needs to be a 5-wave move in order to, let's say, rule out that this is a B wave rally. But we should know that in the next couple of days. So I'll keep you updated. For now, the short-term trend is up. But now we are, not yet, but we are getting close to that area from where we could watch for a rejection. And any break below yesterday's low would indicate the start of circle C to the downside. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.